It may sound weird that I say I've been to the place, but I've been to places that may not make sense to people because time is one of the illusions that you understand when you get astral. Anyway, or post-astral, I would think, honestly. I don't even know if that's a term, but I'm going to coin the phrase post-astral. So anyway, there is a time and place when people learn how to have flying automobiles, but they're not quite called automobiles, and they're not flying cars, because a flying car, if they try doing that, it ends up just being a hovercraft. And so what they ended up calling them is carters, because they're like a half car, half helicopter. And that's what actually they call them. Most people call them that for short. And then they ended up calling them, you know how we have all these different brand names. Or a Carter is like the first one ever, and then they have all different names of Carters. It's just basically, you call a car, and all of a sudden it's an automobile, we call it a car. They're called Carters, like they're car helicopters, but they have small blades that are inside the hood that you don't really see, but they still work the same. And there's a few, I've seen the whole system and how it's done, but the problem with that is when people do it, there's all kinds of new issues that arise. Like people crash them into houses, on top of trees, into the weirdest places you could think of. People fly too high and their car runs out of fuel and they fall and die. And people jump out of the car a lot more, and there's more suicides. There's more like homicides, people throwing people out of cars, people trying to, then they have, trucks that carry stuff in the air, and people have like backs on their things, and they tip and they drop stuff on houses. They throw things out of windows, and there's litter all in the middle of woodses, and there's all kinds of, I've been there. It's best to stay on ground for mass land travel, unless it's on a guided cable line through, at least through, there has to be spots where I think it's through, like, a lot of it's helicopter, but a lot of it's sort of like a Wi-Fi electric, what do they call it? It's like electric grid that you can move up and down on, sort of a, like you think with a controller on a video game system, like if you're hitting up on the thing, it'll move up a certain amount of bars in a straight line and over and down if you hit like the right direction on the keypad. It's like it'll move that way with your controls, but it does it with the air, with a certain like Wi-Fi energy network. It's pretty cool. But I mean, those things are cool, but you can't give that to people who are willing to look at the highways. Look at the highways look like. We can't do flying cars or carters or any hovercrafts until people start learning how to take care of themselves, because this is us. What do you have to show for yourself? Well, I'm a good person who doesn't throw out litter, but other people do. Well, as much as it sounds like to be a nag, we got to start getting on some of the people about cleaning up and teaching them how, and not just throwing them a slammer for litter, or punishing everybody in a certain way. Getting them to understand why we need that, because it's a reflection of themselves. And when they start understanding that, they'll start loving each other more, because they'll see it. Anyway, the Carter. I was there. It was sort of weird, and I sort of figured I'd say it, but I thought it would be stupid to tell people, because I don't want people to be like, oh, he's just making up dumb shit. But it's not here yet, so it sounds like I'm making it up. But I was already there, so how can I make up something if I was already there, but it's not here yet? I don't know. Anyway, you tell me. I wish I knew, but it's such a odd thing when you feel like you've been there. Like, just like I've gone to an amusement park and I can remember being there. Like, this is a place that I remember being. Like, I felt like I was physically there. It's weird, and I don't understand how to explain that. So, anyway, I love you. Peace.